Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady, where I help home business owners win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish. And when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. All right. So we got tea for today. Okay. We got the tea. All right. So I caught this article from ProPublica. That's a hard name to say. So anyway, it seems that TurboTax, Intuit is the company that operates TurboTax. Intuit also operates QuickBooks. But it seems as though TurboTax and H&R Block have been hiding their free file options from Google so that consumers could not find it. So to give you some history, the major companies, they basically agreed to create a free e-file option in agreement with the IRS for the IRS to not create their own version of a free file. So the company said, okay, cool, we'll create a free file option. So, basically, so the IRS would not compete with them. Now, the IRS free file option is only good for certain taxpayers. I do believe the majority of people that use it, that are eligible to use it, make around $40,000 a year. But I forgot the actual income limit for whether it's married filing joint or if you're filing single or whatever. Okay. But the point is that these tax companies agreed to make a free filing option available so that the IRS would not create their own. Well, when that first started, and I want to say, maybe 2015 or something like that. I'm not sure when it started, but when it first got started, it took off, right? Because the people had the option to file their own taxes for free versus buying the software. But what Intuit and H&R Block did is they went in and manually added code for it to not show up in the Google search results. So when people were looking for it, it wouldn't come up in the Google search. So they hid it from Google. They manually and intentionally did this. And I guess that's the point that I want to make sure comes out. They intentionally went in and added this certain code so that the free file options would not show up in search results. And then consumers were then pointed to their paid products. Essentially, the free file option was hitting them in their pockets. Now, there are people who don't even use the free option, even though they know about it, because some consumers are like, you know what? I really don't want to fool with this. I'd rather pay somebody to do it. That is very different than you really wanting to file for free to save that money. And then there's options to do it, but they're being hidden from you. Two totally different things. So people that are in this category that could have filed for free were normally charged, between $100 and $150. Now, mind you, that's not a lot of money. However, when you are really living on a limited income, we're talking about our elderly people that may be on Social Security and really living on limited finances, that $150 can be a lot of money. Now, for my filers that, have the earned income credit. Now, this really, it creates a big picture, right? This is what I love, just kind of looking at the whole big picture thing, because, lawmakers have also caught wind that low income filers also pay more for tax filing. And we're talking about the taxpayers that get the earned income tax credit, the additional child tax credit. These are not your wealthier taxpayers, right? But lower income filers pay more for tax preparation than wealthier people. Why? Because you have to have your tax fees taken out of your refund, and you often pay more. And we're talking about a lot more. And it's not the opportunity to go and shop around. And it's also the convenience part. And when I say convenience, is that these franchises put themselves in areas where the large refunds are, and it's right there, right? And a lot of times people actually believe that going to one of the tax franchises is cheaper because having a CPA or a tax person, your own tax person, is a rich people thing. These are things that people have said to me. So this is not something where I'm just coming up with it out of thin air. So they go to these tax franchises because they believe that's the only way they can file their taxes and get their money back. So that's what they do instead. And because these tax franchises also provide the service of getting their money back faster, because a lot of times, the lower income filers, they're depending on this money to catch up on rent or, utilities, or different types of bills to sustain their living. So waiting until the middle of February may not be an option. So all of those things together really create a perfect storm of where you have low income filers that are paying a hefty fee between the tax preparation fees and the bank fees to get their money back early. But I often ask people, if you could wait, if somebody paid you, $800 to wait 30 days for your tax refund, would you do it? And if the answer is yes, then, there are these other options for you to file. Now, I'm not trying to take money out of anybody's pockets, but I'm also about being an informed consumer, right? The most expensive tax prep isn't always the best tax prep. The cheapest tax prep isn't always the best tax prep. However, you have to, you have to kind of shop around and who you're dealing with, because there are a lot of people that provide these services that are that do great work. There are other people that provide these services that take advantage of people. It happens. There's really no way to really tell who you're dealing with until something goes wrong. But at the same time, these companies went through a little extra step to hide that option from you, and that's wrong. And it's caught the attention of lawmakers. And lawmakers are also looking at the transparency of the fees that are being charged, because a lot of times, people go through and they don't know what they're signing. Nobody is reading anything. And they actually did some, what do you call it? Like mystery shopping, where they went to different tax franchises to say, hey, we want to get our taxes filed and have the fee taken out of the refund, and they were asking for all this documentation, and more times than not, they were not given this information to know exactly what you're paying for and how much it's costing you until after the work is done. And then you're kind of like, as far as the consumer is concerned, you're sitting there feeling like you don't really have an option, even though it may not be what you want to pay. And that is the problem of being an uneducated consumer. So let me say this clearly. I'm not hating on tax franchises. I know great people that own tax franchises. However, you got to know where you are in your life and what you need. Because tax franchises, they provide a service. I'm not mad at them. But when companies go through and intentionally do something to hide an option from you, and even though they agreed to, provide this service so the IRS would not build their own, it's cheating. Essentially what it is, it's cheating. They cheated because and even if, consumers called to say, hey, where is this option? They were not even given the option. They were always pointed to a paid product. Always, always. Okay. So yeah, TurboTax and H&R Block, this is going to be interesting because I don't believe this will be the end of it. Coupled with them hiding the free file option from consumers, as well as charging exorbitant fees. And even though H&R Block is now like, okay, we have all this upfront pricing, the fact that this practice has gone on for so long, I don't think this is the end of this. I really believe that there's going to be some legislative changes when it comes down to tax preparation, that's going to impact these major chains. So yes, that is the tea. So I'm going to be watching this. Okay. All right. right, you guys. So that is the tea for today and what is happening on these tax streets. All right. So guys, thank you so much for tuning into Home Biz Tax Talk. Again, we air Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish, and you can come right here to get your questions answered about your home business taxes. All right. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.